All right, people, we're going to be talking about a couple of altcoins that could see big price movements by news, associations, and other things. First one I want to talk about is Aster. And you're probably going like, what the heck is Aster? It is a hyper-liquid competitor, but here's the thing. It's actually endorsed by CZ from Binance, and he might actually be the one behind it. With CZ and BNB behind it, and looking how good Hyperliquid's been, you better be hype about this particular coin. People are speculating that indeed the Binance co-founder might be behind the project. By the way, so you guys didn't know, CZ is back at Binance. He basically, on his profile, he basically took away the X Binance thing and he put back on like Binance co-founder. So I don't think he's ex Binance anymore, and he is the one in charge of Binance. I think he was always the one in charge of Binance behind the scenes, but now he's officially in charge of Binance again. So BNB chain based decentralized perpetuals exchange. So it's already on BSC chain. Aster briefly crossed 2 billion in total value locked on Thursday after launching its native token before falling back shortly, according to DeFi Llama data. The surge that followed the project's Aster APX token launch proved to be short-lived as it ended the day at 545 million TVL. So it did shrink back. It did actually go up to 655 million TVL, which was double the 3 to 400 million before the token debut. The launch also sparked heightened trading activity, with Aster logging 434 million in a 24-hour volume. Obviously, nothing compared to Hyperliquid, but remember, if you have Binance backing it, it could actually go for like a really, really big run. I don't even know if it's in the top 100 right now, but it's definitely a coin you want to keep track of. It is actually still in the most active decentralized finance derivatives platforms. While the project gained traction, obviously it's still very hard. It still has a very long way to go to get up to Hyperliquid, with daily trading volume at 15 billion. So that's the thing with Aster. But like I said, CZ I think is rumored to be involved with Aster, and if CZ is involved, it can definitely go up 20, 30x. One community member said that Zhao may have realized the business is at risk and launched Aster in response. He's talking about Binance, obviously, because like these exchanges, perpetuals exchanges like Hyperliquid, the decentralized ones, might be threatening the CEXs, and so Aster might be CZ's response to that. Another ex-user took to the speculation further, saying Zhao was obviously pissed about Hyperliquid and that said that he is back in charge after removing the ex-Binance tag on his profile. So much for Richard Tang. He still might be the official CEO, but we know that CZ is in charge. So Aster launched with USDF, which is literally just Athena yielding like 12%. So there's another incentive for using Aster. To clarify, CZ just launched Hyperliquid plus Athena, and it's not even top 100 coin yet. So you can see how much potential it actually is. Now, by the time this video comes out, it might actually be top 100, but it still has a long way to go. Despite the speculation, CZ is barred from managing Binance under a lifetime ban imposed by U.S. authorities in a 2024 court case. But of course, since all the enforcement agents have been fired, no one's going to actually enforce that. Binance CEO Richard Tang confirmed the restriction last year. Zhao has since described himself as just a community member and a BNB holder. Yeah, I don't think anyone actually believes that. He's definitely the one in charge, and he's not just a community member. That's complete BS. So, essentially, people are definitely thinking that Binance is basically linked to Aster. So, despite Zhao's distancing, Aster's ties to Binance ecosystem are documented. Binance Labs, the former venture capital arm of the exchange, and the family office tied to Binance co-founders CZ and Yi He, which is his wife, rebranded to YZI Labs in January. According to an announcement, Zhao will take an active role in coaching and mentoring the incubator startup companies. Obviously, I personally think this particular company is actually his company. So, definitely a huge, huge player, or could actually be. And just imagine if it got to Hyperliquid's market cap, you'd be looking at massive, massive gains. And of course, CZ believes in the derivative market. There was a BNB chain representative. They said Aster is now number one perpetual DEX on the blockchain and expressed their intention to support the project fully. I definitely think they want to catch up to Hyperliquid, and I think there's a decent chance that it will, with CZ and Binance supporting the project. So Aster, right? Aster definitely one that you want to keep a track of. The second one that might be coming up is Trump's WLFI coins. So WLFI coins, they voted to have a token buyback and burn, and obviously token buybacks and burns do pump the price of the coin. So U.S. President Donald Trump, by the way, I still wouldn't buy WLFI or anything related to Trump coins because remember, they can freeze your coins at any time. So you might just be like buying frozen coins. U.S. President Donald Trump backed crypto project World Liberty Financial passed a governance proposal to reduce the supply and boost the value of its native cryptocurrency following its disappointing price performance since launch. On Thursday, the Trump family-backed platform passed a governance vote that seeks to use 100% of the project's treasury liquidity fees for World Liberty Financial token buybacks and burns, meaning permanently removing the tokens from circulation. So obviously, it's kind of like what Binance actually does, and that definitely could pump the price. Once again, they can always freeze your coin, so I wouldn't buy them, but still. The vote passed with 99.8% majority, while only 0.06% of the community voted against the proposal, which will serve as the foundation of the platform's token buyback strategy, according to data from worldlibertyfinancial.com. Similar mechanisms seek to reduce the circulating supply of a token and create more demand through buybacks. Buybacks are exactly what they sound like. They are essentially the company buying back your coins, and in this case, burning them, reducing the supply. Stock investors like them. And if you're investing in crypto investors should like them too, because there is no reason not to like them. They're essentially just reducing the supply, which makes your coin more scarce, and by that measure, will actually make your coin worth more. So WLFI is looking a little bit brighter than what it was. However, the proposal still lacks estimates, so there's no numbers on the amount of fees generated by the platform, making it difficult to estimate the potential market impact of the buybacks. The governance vote was passed nearly 3 weeks after the official launch of the WLFI token on September 1st, which resulted in a 40% price decline within the first 3 days of launch. Obviously, WLFI has not done so well. They've had that controversy with essentially freezing people's coins, so they want to get some of the momentum back. Don't think they're actually going to actually do so with this. So yeah, still like if you're a WLFI investor, this is still very, very good news for you. Obviously, any boost up to the price of the coin is, given that the coin has dumped so much since it's actually come onto the scene. Now, the third thing is not a bullish thing. It's with Tron and Justin Sun, and it could actually result in a bearish move for Tron, and that is U.S. lawmakers has challenged the SEC on Tron's IPO. Now, Tron was a reverse IPO. He basically bought a lot of Trump tokens, and he committed to buying $100 million more Trump tokens, $100 million more Trump tokens, and also WLFI tokens. So Trump would give him some benefits in his own token launches. And in that regard, he has gotten a full reverse IPO that went through without a hitch. But now they're challenging that because they think there's some corruption involved. Now, is there some corruption involved? Obviously. But they want to investigate that. Now, as long as Trump's in office, he probably will actually protect him because they're kind of connected at this point and they're invested in each other. But they could still do investigations, and that could get people scared about Tron. So 2 members of Congress have called on the SEC to answer questions that could impact how crypto companies go public on U.S. exchanges. Now, they obviously want Tron to go through the regular steps to get IPO'd, which is probably what Tron should do, but should and do are like 2 different things. So Tron's going to go the route of least regulatory scrutiny. In a Wednesday letter to SEC Chair Paul Atkins and Acting Director of the Commission's Division of Corporate Finance, Cecily Lamoth, Senator Jeff Merkley and Representative Sean Casten questioned the agency's timing on dropping an enforcement case against Tron founder and CEO Justin Sun. The Tron founder had been facing a lawsuit filed by the SEC in 2023 over allegations of offering unregistered securities, but the agency asked for a stay in the case in February, a month after the departure of former chair Gary Gensler. Obviously, they've basically destroyed all the enforcement divisions, so no one's really looked at this, and Paul Atkins has essentially let people do whatever they want. The letter reads, "We write to express serious concerns about Tron founder Justin Sun and President Trump's business ties and the potential for conflict of interest." There's obviously a lot of conflict of interest. They do mention foreign influence because Justin Sun is foreign, including the SEC Commission's decision under the Trump administration to abandon its fraud lawsuit against Mr. Sun. Obviously, that's because Justin Sun basically bought a lot of Trump coins. Furthermore, Mr. Sun's decision to take his opportunity company public, potentially with assistance from members of the Trump family, raises significant national security and investor protection concerns. We urge the SEC to commit to ensuring full oversight of Mr. Sun and his company's attempts to access U.S. capital markets, with particular attention to his concerning ties to President Trump and his family. Merkley and Kasten suggested that Sun's sizable investments in crypto ventures controlled by U.S. President Donald Trump and his family, including World Liberty Financial and his meme coin official Trump, could have influenced the case being halted. And I'm almost sure 100% it did actually influence the case being halted. But I doubt, since Trump's president, he controls both Congress and the Supreme Court, it's really going to get ruled after. So I would be somewhat careful of TRX and Tron at this point. This does not sound good, and if you have Tron, I would definitely sell it before Trump leaves office, because once Trump leaves office, Justin Sun is not going to have that protection. And of course, a lot of the scrutiny is with the reverse merger or reverse IPO, basically buying a public company as a shell company, reverse merging with that company, and then that's how you go public without all the SEC scrutiny, especially since they are not enforcing everything. So maybe some bad news for Tron. Another thing that I want to mention that's bullish for coins is the fact that PayPal is going to expand its PYUSD onto several other chains. And now the chains that they're going to expand onto are Tron, Avalanche, Aptos, Abstract, Inc., SEI, and Stable, while existing permissionless versions on Berachain and Flow will upgrade to PYUSD 0. So, once again, these chains, Tron, Avalanche, Aptos, Abstract, Inc., SEI, and Stable, might be affected. I don't think Tron will be affected that much because they do have USDT, and USDT is way bigger than PYUSD, so it should have very little effect. Avalanche, probably not too much of an effect either. Maybe like Aptos, Abstract, Inc., SEI, these are smaller, so that will help with its liquidity. So keep those coins in mind, and they might get more liquidity, which would definitely help them during the bull run. Outside of that, the U.S. state of Michigan joins the growing list that are considering strategic crypto reserves. That's obviously good for all of crypto. The more people that are interested in buying crypto, Bitcoin, or whatever crypto, the better it is for us. So very, very excited about these strategic crypto reserves. It's called House Bill 4807, introduced by Republican lawmakers Brian Posthumous and Ron Robinson, would permit the treasurer to place up to 10% of two stabilization funds into cryptocurrency custody, which would buy the tightly regulated with options including state-controlled storage, federally regulated stable custodians, or exchange-traded products. The bill even allows the state to lend out its holdings to earn extra income in terms of yield. So very, very good news from the state of Michigan. So that's all the news we have for today. Like and subscribe, hit that bell notifications button. Thank you, and have a nice day.